We already heard a lot about AI, robots, emotions, what makes us human, maybe what doesn't make us human, and whether cats are sometimes more human or more humane than maybe we are. So it's and it's an interesting topic, and I think it's kind of the brainstorming is going a bit into that direction. I'm going to start out with a thing from the 18th century, from 1770. It's called the Mechanical Turk, different names, and it was a machine that it was kind of a chess playing computer, and on the outside you didn't see that there actually was a person inside it. So they were traveling with it, and they were kind of doing chess matches, and everybody was kind of stunned that the machine was playing like a grandmaster in chess. But actually it was just a human inside the machine. So kind of a human posing as a machine, fooling everybody into thinking that they are a machine, or that the thing they are a machine. So this is the 18th century. If we fast forward a couple hundred years, we end up with Amazon Mechanical Turk. They call it the artificial intelligence, and there is a patent from the year 2001 about hybrid machine human computing arrangement. And what the Mechanical Turk thing on Amazon is that they use humans to solve kind of problems that the machine cannot solve. Pretty much like the reCAPTCHA that Anna showed. So there's kind of it's a paid thing. You can sign up at Mechanical Turk to be a worker, and then you're getting fed very small bite-sized tasks that you then solve, like labeling things, or pretty much the things that you do on reCAPTCHA. So we use kind of humans inside the machine, and the machine sits on top of the of the humans, metaphorically speaking, and controls all the little humans inside the machine to then compute a result. Going back into the past a bit, the word computer actually is also coming from humans. So what you see here in the picture is the NACA, which later then became NASA. It's a computer room, and there were people, very often women, who were doing computations, and they were called computers. So it was a time before they had large room-filling computers as we understand them now, as in computing machines, and it was just people doing the work as computers. So this also blurs a bit the line between the computer as we know now and the computer then, and maybe the person or the ghost inside the machine. You also already heard about the Turing test. Of course, that's kind of when you're the last speaker, everything has already been said, so bear with me. The Turing test, also as Anna described it, a test where you want to find out whether, in this case, A or B are a human or a computer, and you can converse with the machine, and then you have to come up with whether that the thing that you're talking to is either a person or a computer. This is also a topic or theme that has been picked up in by Philip K. Dick, Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep? It's also something that Anna referenced in her question, whether AI dreams of electric sheep, or what are AIs dreaming of. And this was then turned into a motion picture called Blade Runner, which you probably know or probably have seen. Maybe you've seen the sequel, the new version of it. And the idea of Blade Runner is that the main protagonist, he's a bounty hunter pretty much, and he's tasked with finding persons who are not real humans, but who are pretty much robots instead. But they are so advanced that it's very hard to discern them biologically. So it's not like a robot made out of metal and parts and so on. They're pretty much just human, and they come up with a test to see whether they are replicants, as they're called, or whether they're human. And also in the book and in the movie, one of the questions is a bit also about identity. So there's this character Rachel, and she's an android, or she's a replicant. She's not human, but she's not aware that she's not human. And I also put here an XKCD comic that you might be familiar with. So kind of the Turing test, kind of an extra challenge for a Turing test, where you convince the examiner that they are not human. So I'm very much interested in kind of what makes us human, and also with the question of identity. Speaking of movies, there's A Scanner Darkly, which also Philip K. Dick novel, which was turned into a movie by Richard Linklater. And they have what's called a scrambling suit. The idea is that it's an undercover cop, and kind of the scrambling suit gives you an appearance that is very unremarkable, and it pretty much changes. It's very hard to identify from the outside. And because often kind of identity is something that either we construct on our own, but also something that we construct for somebody else. And Anna also touched on the question kind of what makes us human, what is human? Am I human? And maybe then who am I and who are you? And just a few minutes ago, she asked the question of what makes us human. And I think she summed it up very nicely. And just to cut it short, to come to the brainstorming, what I initially intended was to give you this task. 30 years into the future, create a Turing test that can discern between human and non-human, similar like in Blade Runner. The rules are it's conversation-based, so you're talking with the subject. You pretty much have unlimited time, so it's, if it takes 2 years, then that's fine as well, but it has to be exact. But since we already heard so much about AI, and I have the feeling that kind of the discussion that we're having is on a different level, I want to raise the challenge a bit, and also reference something that Yosha had. Where is it? Welcome to the dream, and conscious is virtual, experience of reality is a trance. So the question for the brainstorming is now sometime into the future, maybe a very distant future. Imagine something like Blade Runner, where kind of the machine or the human is not discernible on its outside, but rather only on its inside. Create a Turing self-test that can discern between human and non-human. The rules are it has to be a self-test, and it has to answer the question, am I human? And this is kind of also the main question in Blade Runner, where the protagonist always struggles with the question. It's kind of, it lingers around whether he is also a replicant. So yeah, the plan is to do 2-on-2 one-on-one brainstorming, so 2 persons per team. We will try to put you in pretty much random teams within team in little breakout rooms. I think you have about 10 minutes time, and then we'd love to hear your thoughts and the results of the brainstorming. So I would then invite everybody to just briefly present what they came up with. Yeah, I'm very curious to hear how we can find out whether we are human actually, or maybe not.